From milk to meat, the journey grows. Tender steps to stronger bones. Through the desert, through the wheat, every word is bread to eat.
All right, Milk to Meat family, we are
Back.
a tag team that's back again. You can check it and rank it. Let's begin.
Wow. Struggle bus is real today.
Party on, party people. Um,
Party on, Garth.
party on, Ted.
Wow, Rob. This gets worse and worse.
It feels like, look, I mean, honestly, it feels like, oh boy. Party on, Wayne. So anyway.
There you go. Took you a minute. For
Oh,
all you younger children, there was a movie.
yeah. Don't watch it, by the
Don't
way.
watch it.
Please don't watch it.
We were heathens.
We're terrible people. What is our deal right now? Wow.
I don't know. Anyhow.
We're going to talk.
So, Rob, we've been talking about the church. And
Yes,
this episode is going to be on how does church participation strengthen your faith?
Well, church participation strengthens your faith by surrounding you with a supportive community and promoting spiritual discipline and fostering accountability. That's been a theme throughout, is accountability, and we don't use that a lot. And the world doesn't like
we're
that.
in a very
Unaccountable world.
Right. I was looking for the word.
Yeah, no problem. I got you on that one. And engaging with local congregation anchors your belief through shared worship, mutual encouragement, and actionable service. But I know we keep using that word accountability, but here's the problem: when you live in an unaccountable world, all of a sudden accountability becomes kind of like bad word.
An exception.
It becomes the exception, and we're not doing it because all of a sudden people don't want to be told that's the wrong thing or held to a standard. Like, I mean, honestly, one thing, Trav, it was interesting. Somebody told me the other day, they were listening to Dr. David Jeremiah, and if you don't know who he is, he's a great theologian. Somebody told him that Christianity was hard because serving Jesus was an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an every minute thing.
It's an every minute. I guess, and I talked to my buddy. I said, well, what did somebody think? Like, that's like saying, well, it's hard being married to you because I'm like married to you every day. Like, really, like that.
It's hard to breathe because I have to inhale and exhale.
Yeah, I mean, did you think it was like just like I serve Jesus on the weekends? Like, it's an everyday thing. Like, yeah, that's the deal. And now don't get me wrong. This isn't David Jeremiah's take on it. Okay, please let me be really clear. I'm going to say this again. David Jeremiah was. This is what he was told. Yeah, he was told by someone, okay, this is why that person, not David Jeremiah at all, he's a wonderful teacher and believer and everything else, but this person told David Jeremiah, this is why I think it's hard. And so David Jeremiah is retelling the story of why a person told him it was hard to serve the Lord. To me, that is so the society we live in, where it's like, it's hard. I have to serve Jesus every day. Well, yeah, you have to be married. Well, maybe this is why the divorce rate's so high, because people aren't being married every day. Maybe, you know what I mean? But it's so, I don't know. I don't get it, and my brain doesn't work that way, I guess. But of course you do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, it's like, are we not friends with people every day? Like, even if I don't talk to you, it doesn't mean I'm not your friend. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean I'm not like, hey, if you need something, I'm here. I don't know. I'm not gonna. We could spend all day on that. I don't want to get.
We could chase that rabbit.
Oh, hey, look, we'll chase some rabbits. If you don't believe us, listen to the last couple episodes. But yeah. So accountability is not a bad thing. It is a good thing. In fact, the Lord tells us we are to be accountable one to another. Find those accountability partners, but mutual accountability and fellowship. When we interact with other believers, it provides us with support and encouragement during difficult times, while also keeping you accountable to your spiritual goals. So if I, like with me, with some of the things that I've been going through the last 6-7 months, Trev, we've walked through it together, where you'll ask me different questions, or when you've been going through things, I ask you questions, not because I'm trying to pry, not because I want to, beat you with a stick, or you want to beat me, but it's like, hey, How is this going? How are we doing on this? To urge each other on spiritually so that we can continue to be more like Jesus, to continue to reflect, because we're image bearers of the Lord. You need that. And iron sharpens iron. And that's not always fun. It's not always fun when I go, oh, you know what? Yeah, not so well today, by the way. Let me tell you what happened. But it's one of those things where if we don't, and we don't have somebody we can be honest with, um, then we're not gonna reach those goals that the Lord wants us to reach. And He tells us to be accountable to each other, and that fellowship provides the ability to get to know one another well enough to go, hey, I can see you're struggling, or hey, this is a safe place. Hey, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of the idea is let's create that environment, and let's find those accountability people. And a lot of times, people go, well, my wife or my husband is my accountability, and that is a fact, and that's true. But there are sometimes you need somebody of the same gender. So a guy needs another dude to help keep him accountable. A lady needs another lady to, because there are some things like Jessica is going through. It's an emotional thing, and I don't understand it, and I'm not gonna. She'll tell me, she's like, "You don't get it."
No.
I don't. I'm not gonna pretend I do. I'm not gonna be some.
But no, she can talk to my wife.
Yeah, she talks to
and
Rebecca.
she understands.
Yeah, they get it because they're going through these things because it's a girl thing. Whatever that, I don't know. It's an emotional
Emotions.
thing and stuff. Travis and I are like, sure.
I got rid of them a long time ago.
Look, I you know what I told the boy? Funny story that goes with this. Aaron one time, he'll be mad at me for telling this story, but it's all right. I'll tell him. He was at when we were going to a Messianic congregation. He was in Shabbat school, and I had to go into the Shabbat school teachers. Had a meeting with the Shabbat school teacher after service because Aaron basically said that emotions were dumb, and he didn't come up with that on his own. By the way,
I couldn't imagine where he heard that from.
He said no. He told us that my dad said. So I had to go in there. Okay, now this is what's funny. I had to go in there, and she goes, "Well, Aaron had said this," and I said, "Okay." And she goes, "Well, did you say that?" I said, "Yeah, I did." She goes, "Well, I'm sure you didn't mean it." I was like, "No, I meant it." And Jessica's sitting there trying to get me to like, I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, honestly, no, I don't know really a lot of good decisions that have been made based on emotion. Like, usually it's sitting
and
back
the Bible
praying.
actually speaks against it.
It does. Like when you sit back and you pray about it, you talk to the Lord, and I don't even want to say pragmatically, when you listen to the Lord and you make decisions and you're not in an emotional state, I said, really, that's when the best decisions are made. And this lady is looking at me, and Jessica's like, "Are you serious? Like, really? That's what you're gonna do right now?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Look, I'll talk to Aaron. He shouldn't have like talked to you that way, but I'm not gonna talk to him about what he said because that's not wrong."
I don't disagree.
So
maybe wrap it a little different.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. So for those of you who have never met my youngest son, Aaron, he is literally probably
Rob Jr.
Yeah, he is really Rob Jr. Joel, my oldest, is a really, really good mixture of Jessica and myself. Aaron gets a lot of good stuff from Jessica, but Aaron's mind works very, very much like mine. So Aaron is me.
Which goes into great with mutual accountability.
Yes, it does. So Aaron and I have conversations a lot where him and I are talking and keeping each other accountable on stuff because we think very, very similarly. So love both of my sons dearly. So anyway, collective worship and study. So regularly participating in the sermons and Bible studies, the sacraments. So when we talk about the sacraments, we mean like communion, things like that. It helps you continually learn and apply religious teachings to your life. So
it's basically, I think the last number I heard, it was like it takes 1,200 times of doing something before it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't include drugs. Don't go out and try to do drugs 1,200 times.
Please don't do that.
I'm going to tell you, it's not going to end well.
No, and also I'm going to say this. I think we would all say no to drugs.
Right.
We are not a proponent of drugs.
A good habit.
Good habit. And what's interesting is if you read the Bible, Paul says, I don't do the things I ought to do. I do the things I ought not to do. It feels like it's harder to make good habits. So I would say, it's probably even more. Because, it's interesting. You do one thing that you don't want to do, and it seems to become a habit instantly.
Yeah.
You want to make a good habit, and you got to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And then you get like, oh, and I stopped. And, it's ridiculous, man.
Doing bad is so much easier.
It's so, I'm ready for the kingdom, Trav. I think I said a couple
Right?
episodes ago, I'm ready for the kingdom where, we can just live in perfection with Jesus, and good habits are easy to do. You know what I mean? So, but we need to regularly be participating, listening, and diving into, good, healthy teaching and Bible studies and doing those things so that we can actually become better. Essentially people say, well, I don't know about the Bible. Okay, well, you should.
Yeah.
And listening to this podcast is one way. Asking questions, though, when you have a question, you should ask that question. It doesn't make you dumb. It doesn't mean you don't love the Lord. Asking questions means you do love the Lord. You do want to know. You do care. So you need to be asking questions. The shared purpose and serving. So using your spiritual gifts to serve others within the church or the local community allows you to actively live out your faith and experience God's purpose. We talked about this a little bit earlier on a prior podcast. Are you serving in the local church, or are you simply a person who just goes and sits and you consume? Are you a consumer, or are you a giver? And people go, well, I attend church, I must be giving. I give my tithe. Great, good. Are you serving? Are you on a team? Are you part of making and moving the church forward?
Right. Are you a part of the body?
Are you a part of the body? Do you do more than just sit and consume and be like, well, I've got to get the Lord has to feed me through the sermon today. Are you actively helping others grow are you serving on a team? Are you in children? Does your children's ministry need people? Does your usher team? Does your greeter team? Does your media team? Whatever team, I don't care. Are you serving? Are you finding a place where you can plug in and allow the Lord's spiritual gifts that He's given you to be utilized? Are you giving of yourself in that way? Tithe and offering is important. Please don't think you don't have to give that. I'm just saying there's other ways we are needing to give as well. Guidance and mentorship. So being a part of the congregation gives you access to pastoral guidance, experienced mentors who can walk alongside you in your spiritual journey. And this is important because a lot of times people don't take advantage of this. They just they wallow in struggle.
Yeah.
And they never reach out and ask for help. And then by the time they do, or they'll leave. I've seen that people leave. Well, nobody was there to help me. Did you ask? Well, no, they should. They could see that I was struggling. Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't.
Yeah.
How do you know that they
Everyone
saw?
is so different.
Yeah.
Your struggle is not mine.
Right.
And I see this so many times. You have resources, but you fail to use them.
Right.
A pastor, a elder in the church, a teacher, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You have people there that have experience.
Sure.
And most of the time, you're going to find somebody that lives a lifestyle or did live a lifestyle similar to what you live.
Right. Or even if they don't, they can at least understand, or they can try to help you through.
Yeah.
Because they if it's a pastor or whatever, they've got that knowledge to counsel and walk you through, and they're willing to walk through it with you.
Right. As people, when we're sick, we go see a doctor, or our vehicle breaks down, we go see a mechanic. But for some reason, when we get into a church and we need spiritual guidance, we won't turn to anyone.
No.
We try to figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is we're not succeeding.
No, we're failing. And then what we do is we leave that church because we can't figure it out and we didn't ask for help. And this isn't the place for me.
Fault.
Yeah. And this is just, the Spirit is not moving, or this isn't the place for me because they didn't help me. But you didn't ask. Like that's what I find interesting.
I've seen so many situations along this line when you run into people that, all of a sudden just kind of disappeared from church, and you run into them on the street. You're like, hey, what's going on? And I've heard this. They're like, well, I was really going through this, and the pastor or whoever, they didn't care. Well, did they know to care?
Yeah.
In a small congregation, if you have 15, 20, 30 people, it's a little simpler. But let's say you've got 500.
Sure.
How can one individual be able to say, I know the needs or the struggles of all 500 people in this congregation? You can't possibly do that.
Yeah.
And when you bring no attention to it, right, and you say, well, they don't care. They didn't know to care. We always want to pass that blame on to someone else.
Sure.
And we're humans. We have a hard time asking for help.
Yep.
We always think we're our own savior, but thank God that Jesus came to be our Savior, because we definitely can't be that person. And a lot of things can be solved with a simple conversation.
Absolutely. And with simply asking for help, like again, I can't stress this enough. If you ask a pastor for help or you ask somebody for help and they don't and they say no,
Right.
okay, you know what? I say go ahead and leave. At that point they don't care.
Right.
But if you haven't, and again, I don't like this where there's an homage, like when somebody says, "Hey, how's it going?" Well, okay, no, I actually don't. Or what? If you say to somebody, "Hey, you know what? I really need some help. I'm struggling with this."
Yeah.
Okay, great, good. You've now made that. And then if they're like, "Well, I'm too busy," or da 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 da, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But the other thing too is, make a phone call. Okay, make a phone call or do whatever and catch, try to catch somebody. Don't catch them when they're in the middle of talking to somebody else. Because again, remember, just like you think about it, if you were talking to the pastor or you were talking to somebody, would you want somebody coming up and interrupting that conversation?
Yeah.
See, sometimes we do it and we're like, well, they didn't stop what they were doing and just talk to me. Well, okay, extend somebody else the courtesy. You know what I'm saying? So many times we have to be the center of the universe.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I don't know anybody that this has happened. This isn't. I'm just trying to again. What we need to do is we need to begin to say, hey, look, I need some help. Schedule a time. Go in and talk to the pastor, or schedule a time with one of the elders or the leaders, and say, can I talk to you? Can we just go to dinner, or can we just go sit at
And let me
at
add
a
a
park?
different perspective to this. A lot of times when we are struggling, we want to hide it.
Yeah.
And I want to use myself as an example here. You know, I struggled with alcoholism for the longest time, and most people had no idea, because I didn't go out parading it around.
Right.
It wasn't something I was proud of. It's not like I went out and wore a T-shirt that says, "Hey, I'm a drunk. Can you help me?" It was more of a, "I don't want you to know. I'm gonna act like I'm not."
Right.
And there were so many people who were like, "We had no idea,"
Yeah.
and they could have helped.
Sure. Yeah. Part of it is letting people know that there's an issue. Like, there's a lot of people that to your point, you've said this, may have struggled with it, may have dealt with it, or may at least they may not understand it, but they'll walk through it with you.
Yeah.
Um, if you just let them know. But part of it is you've said it. When people say, "Hey, how's it going?" Great, fine, blessed, whatever. The church answer that you give is they don't know. And we go, well, they should know. They should. How do they know? Like one of the things we have to realize is people sometimes don't know to get out of their life, and you're having a problem if you don't tell them. Like,
Yeah.
truthfully, like you and I are the worst because we really do. Like, we're just like we know how to look at people and go, we're good. And people don't know to go, okay, they're not. Like, they don't know that they don't. You have to
Right.
really look for the subtle clues. For us, our wives know what to do, but other than that, like, you have to really be knowing what you're doing. So we have no excuse. We don't. That's what we don't say. People don't care because we know what we're doing. We know and whatever. But if you have an issue and if you have a struggle, talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Like really reach out and say to somebody, like a leader in the congregation or an elder, your pastor, and say, hey, can I talk to you? And I really believe, because again, that's the job.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say like it's the job. I mean, they were called and they were called to this position. That is part of their gifting makeup. They really do care. They just need to know, hey, this person's struggling, so that they can focus that caring where it needs to be.
Right.
So
We talked about in other episodes, about the whole socialism thing.
yeah,
Yeah, this is an excellent opportunity. I don't know if you need bread because you have too much meat, unless you tell me.
right, exactly. We need to know what you need.
Yeah. So and it's part of being vulnerable.
It is.
It's saying, "Hey, I do have problems. I am a real person. I need help." And we live in a society where we're supposed to, especially for men, we're supposed to be that big strong wall. And the problem is we're really not. And so sometimes just opening up and saying, "You know what, I'm really struggling right now," and that
Yeah.
person may not be able to help you, but they might know a person.
Yeah, exactly. But they more than likely they'll be able to help you with somebody who will, or they'll make sure that you get something. But it's being vulnerable enough to say that, and that takes courage.
It does.
So, yeah. So, well, that is our episode for today. Please make sure that you reach out and, yeah. So, you can reach out to us if you need to.
Absolutely.
Discipleship, milk to meat discipleship at gmail.com. You can like, subscribe, you can leave a comment. We would be happy to pray with you, pray for you, talk to you. We're here. So, but again, that cannot take the place of the discipleship and the local church, but we will definitely do our best in any way we can to help you.
That's
So,
it.
all right. Well, we will catch you on the next episode of Milk to Meat. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.